Welcome back to the Voices of East Texas, a podcast where we preserve stories, memories, and experiences that make this region feel like home. I'm your host, Elena, and today's episode is one that really captures the unique experience of growing up in East Texas. From small town schools where everyone knows each other to the winding back roads, lakeside neighbors, and the changing identities of towns like Tyler and Mount Vernon. Today, we are joined by a member of the Folk family, whose story stretches from Louisiana and Wyoming all the way back to the East Texas town after the 2009 financial crash. Their experience reflects something many people here understand deeply: the connection between family, place, and community. In this episode, we will talk about what it's like growing up in a close-knit town, the transition from country living to subdivision life, and how East Texas can feel both incredibly small and surprisingly different from the rest of the country once you leave it. So let's settle in and listen to another voice of East Texas. And before we begin, I'd also like to thank our listeners for their patience with this episode release. I've been under the weather recently, which has caused a slight delay, but I'm grateful to finally be able to share this conversation with all of you. Thank you for continuing to support the Voices of East Texas and the stories that make this region special. Hello, East Texans. Thank you for joining us here on the Voices of East Texas. Megan, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Megan Folk. I am a current master's student at the University of Texas at Tyler. I'm pursuing my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I lived from Louisiana to Wyoming to a small town in East Texas called Mount Vernon, and then I went to college in Tyler. So I've been a little bit of everywhere.
Yes, you have a great perspective, a wide perspective of East Texas then. That's amazing. Tell me about your family.
So I have a little brother. He is 17 and he graduates high school next Saturday. And he graduates with honors, and I'm like so proud of him.
That's amazing.
He's number 5 in his class. He's so smart. He's going to the University of Texas at Tyler for engineering.
They have such a great program there.
They do. My dad worked in the oil field pretty much my whole childhood, and when I went to college, he started his own oil field business called Action Nitro and Coil Tubing, I believe, and it's kind of a family business. My grandfather works for him as well, so it's growing very steadily.
That's fun, having the whole family involved. And your brother is going to go into engineering, which is kind of right along those tracks. So that's really cool. So since you've moved around a lot, what did the town look like when you were young, and how has it changed in your own eyes?
So when I was younger, Mount Vernon to me kind of felt like one of those small town Hallmark movie towns, just because there were 3 donut shops within like a mile of each other, and everybody argued over which donut shop was the best. There was a Sonic on one end of the town, but they demolished it to make a Sonic on the other end of the town. The biggest news in Mount Vernon was getting a Duke's gas station, and there's a highway in between us that goes towards Dallas, so we get, like, a lot of traffic from that, and so they made the Duke's gas station, but we already had a Love's gas station, and we already had, like, 4 other gas stations.
Holy cow.
We had an Alco, which was kinda like, a shopping center,
Okay.
but they had closed down because they went bankrupt, and potentially we were gonna get a Walmart market, but we have
Wow.
a Brookshires, and so the Chamber of Commerce was like, "We're gonna stick with the locally owned Brookshires."
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
been growing steadily, but it's been growing in Mount Vernon's way. They do not let it, expand very fast or rapidly because they want to preserve the family-owned mom and pop businesses. That's why places like, Chop House and, like, I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's a small cafe there. I think it's called, like, Lighthouse or something like that. Those have all been booming because they're, like, small mom and pop places.
That's amazing. So they're growing, but they want to keep that old town feel to it. I love that. I love how you say it's Mount Vernon's way.
Yeah. When I was in high school, they had I was a part of a thing called Leaders of Tomorrow, and part of that program was taking students around Mount Vernon, showing them the history, the culture of Mount Vernon, and how it's growing and expanding. And one of the things they wanted to make key to us was that it's growing and expanding, but we're putting the citizens of Mount Vernon first. We're not going to just make it for people who are coming in for a second home from Dallas. We're making sure it's for the citizens of Mount Vernon and that it's for the people of Mount Vernon.
I love that. And what is that program called?
Leaders of Tomorrow.
Leaders of Tomorrow. And you were a part of that.
Yeah, it was a high school program we did in conjunction with, I believe it was the Chamber of Commerce and the Masonic Lodge.
That's amazing. I love hearing about programs like that. It just makes my heart so full to know that the town leaders see that the history of the town is so important and teaching their young people about it and getting them excited to share it and honor their traditions.
It was really interesting going through it because they showed us some of the houses that are, like, from the Civil War era,
Wow.
and Mount Vernon's known for, like, its train station that was,
Mhm.
like, active and everything, and so, of course, we went through there. Mount Vernon's also known for Don Meredith. He was a football player for the Dallas Cowboys who then became a sports TV host, I believe,
Mhm.
and our whole football stadium is like the Don Meredith Stadium, so it was, like, really big in the town, so they were telling us about him and then about, like, the bird watchers that they have and just, how Mount Vernon's growing with different farms and disc golf places. It was, like, such a fun and interesting thing to do, and a lot of, I guess, more powerful people in the town were part of it because we had, like, a judge and a lawyer from the town, participate in it, and we did a mock trial at the courthouse.
Oh my gosh, those are so fun.
I won the mock trial with my partner. It was great.
I love it. I love it. What is one of your favorite memories that really made Mount Vernon feel like this was a small town compared to all the other places that you've visited?
Football's pretty big in Mount Vernon, as it would be in any small East Texas town. But, one of my high school years, I can't remember if it was junior or senior, we were undefeated. And, that was, like, really big. We were gonna go to state and everything, and it was our 10th game, and I had went with my mom. I had put, like, chalk streaks in my hair, and my mom did my makeup, and it was, like, a really fun bonding experience for me and her. And she didn't always like going to the football games just because it's, like, loud and it's hot and it's humid and everything,
Yes.
but it was something me and her wanted to do together. I think my dad had watched my brother that day, and we just went and I still have this picture on my phone of after they won. It's, both of us in our Mount Vernon shirts, and we're, like, both holding up, all 10 fingers showing that we're, like, undefeated them. And then, um, as we were leaving, the whole town was celebrating. The Ramsey's Law Office was displaying, like, "Congratulations, Mount Vernon, undefeated 10-0."
Wow.
The Sonic was holding, like, a promotion, and they had, like, the football player they have a chalk outline of a football player or something like that, that was displayed, and they were running a promotion, and, like, the whole town shut down when we went to state. It was like a whole big thing, and that wouldn't always happen if it was, like, a bigger school or a bigger
Yes,
town.
yes. Could you imagine them trying to shut down Tyler?
It would be
That would be
insane.
crazy.
And they also got, because we were going to state, they got, like, state T-shirts that were sponsored by local businesses that were, like,
Wow.
on the back, and then we had, like, their names of the players as they were, like, leaving, and we did, like, a whole little parade
Wow.
as they were leaving.
That's so special.
It was a huge thing, and it's just something that shows how interconnected we are because
Yes.
everybody knows the boys who are playing on the football team. Everybody knows the girls who are cheering for them. Everybody knows everyone in the band because we all grew up together.
Yes.
My graduating class was like 120 people. We
Wow.
all grew up together. We all knew each other's name, and so we were all rooting for each other.
Yeah. That camaraderie is just amazing. Something I didn't get to experience as a kid growing up. I grew up in a very large town city. in Illinois. So I didn't get that small town feel. I didn't understand it, nor do I. Sometimes I feel like I still don't understand it. Um, I think it's funny when I can walk through the grocery store and I see 5 people that I know and we get to talking and my husband just laughs at me and is like, "You need to nod and just keep going." And I'm going, "Why? I haven't seen them in so long." But that's the small town feel, that I have grown to love and enjoy.
It's actually really funny you mentioned that. I have been living in Mount Vernon since October. I used to work for the housing at UT Tyler, and then I decided to accept a graduate teaching assistant position, and lost howling that came with that. So I moved back home, and I've been commuting, and I'll go like shopping with my mom and everything, and everyone I ever know is there. And I used to think she was, like, funny whenever she would call me and I was, after my classes, and she'd be like, "Oh, I just saw a person at Berkshires, they told me to say hi to you, they said that they went to classes with you." And I was like, "Oh, well, what was their name?" And my mom was like, "Well, they look like this, so I don't know their name." But I went, like, just this past Sunday, shopping with my mom and my brother, and I saw, like, 4 people from my church. I saw some, friends that I had graduated with. I have a friend who now works for the bank in the Berkshires. I see her sometimes. Like, it's, the pharmacist who used to do my brother's medicine, I'll see her all the time. It's, like, very interconnected. Everyone you've ever known is at Berkshire.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's so amazing. It's so heartwarming to see and feel, and like you said, it's like a Hallmark movie.
Mhm.
How many times in the Hallmark movies do we see they keep running into, their childhood 2nd grade teacher,
Yes.
I absolutely love it. Let's move on. Can you share a memory that captures, since we're talking about the small town and the small town feel, can you share a memory that captures? You shared one already about the football.
Mhm.
Can you share another that captures it? But that shift, that change from when you were little to now as an adult, has it gotten any bigger or any smaller or
It's been expanding slightly. When I was in high school, there was a push for the whole high school to be remodeled. And there was a need for it. I remember one of my favorite teachers in high school, her name was Miss Wilkins. Her classroom, she had showed us when we were talking about this bond that was trying to be passed. She had showed us like different places on the floor where if you step on the tile, it was just hollow. Like it was just there was a man need for it to be remodeled. But there was a divided stance because it would be taken on people would be adding new taxes. It would change some of the way that Mount Vernon's tax structure was done because the school is paid for by the homeowner taxes.
yeah,
Um, so there was like a divide, and the school had offered to like anyone who was like 18, you could go and vote on this bond. And like they gave us like the little slips of paper to apply for like a voter's license and stuff like that. And that kind of started showing me about that was kind of a moment where I was like, okay, I'm an adult now. This is a big change that affects several people, not just people who future go to the school like my little brother.
right.
This affects any landowner in Mount Vernon.
Yes, it affects Mount Vernon as a whole.
So it was something that like it didn't get past the first time, but it got passed the second time, and I did not voted on the second time, but my mom told me it got passed. And they're still doing like the reconstruction. They did a whole new track. One of the things is me and my dad and my little brother would always go and we walk around the track, go work out and everything. And now the track is closed to the public because we don't get nice things. Things like small, subtle ways it's changed. On Monday, my mom had brought me some donuts, and she was like, "They're going on a vacation for 2 weeks, so no donuts." And I was like, "We have like 4 donut places." And she was like, "They all shut down. We only have 1 donut place now." And I was like, "What? I grew up with donuts galore. What do you mean we only have 1 now?"
What happened?
Places just kind of okay. One of them did get hit like twice by a car, so
Oh
it was
my
kind of
god.
understandable. I would understand going
Yeah,
away from that.
yeah. They're like,
But
"We're gonna give up on this one."
Mount Vernon's been known to kinda, like, switch through some businesses. We
Yeah.
used to have kinda like an off-brand Blockbuster that changed into, like, an Italian restaurant that then changed into a cupcake place, and their cupcakes have, like, bacon on top of it. It was a strange cupcake place.
It's crazy.
Then it changed to a church, and now I think it's still a church, but it, like, filtered through a couple businesses,
Yeah.
mostly mom and pop type stuff. When I was a senior in high school, me and my friends would go and get snow cones from one of the places on the square, and then they sold the place, like, 2 years after, and I was like, "No, the snow cones are gone." So they've been cycling through quite a bit of different businesses, and I start noticing it now because, like, used to I'd just be like, "Oh, cupcakes no more. Okay, let's move on now." But now I'm
Yes.
actually like, "Oh, this business went out. I wonder what happened. I wonder X, Y, Z.
Yes.
Was it just like the structure of who's gonna have gourmet cupcakes in Mount
Right?
Vernon versus, oh, okay, Mount Vernon has 37 churches. Obviously, a church is gonna be really impactful right here. So it's just noticing those different areas and kind of seeing it through a more grown adult lens.
That's amazing. I love that you can spot those differences now as an adult versus when you were a kid. It is funny how our lens starts to change over the years. What is one moment that you will never forget about living in Mount Vernon?
I believe it was 4th grade, and one of the biggest a lot of my stories about school because that was kind of my whole life.
That's okay.
I was in 4th grade, and I was very into reading. I loved reading, it was, like, one of my favorite things, and, I had already gotten a couple different awards and everything. I was principal for a day, with Mr. D in Mount Vernon in elementary school, and so, like, there was already a couple of things, but, the big end of the year thing is always, like, your it's not really a graduation, but it's like a certification type thing at the end of the day where it's awards day. That's what it's called, where it's an awards day. And when I was graduating, there was like a big trophy there, and I was kind of like, I wonder who that's gonna go to. And all my friends were like, "That's for you for reading," and I was like, "You're lying. There's no way." And I think it was only like 100 AR points. And keep in mind, when I got to like middle school, I set a record for reading over 1,000. And that instantly got broken the next year by Stephen. So I'm very big on readers. But I was like, "There's no way." And, Mr. D had made, like, a whole little speech about, how I was, like, paving the way for readers and everything, and the little trophy was for me, and I went and I got it, and it was so funny to me because, like, everyone knew but me, and we got it, and my mom was crying and ran up and hugged me, and my mom's best friend, who I come to see as a grandmother, Rhonda, she had came up and she was taking all the pictures and she had come to my awards day with her. And it was a very community bonding day that really shaped kind of who I became because I already loved reading, but that kind of like cemented it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. And I went on to do like research, actually, I just saw on Facebook the other day that my high school librarian, Diane Ramsey, she is retiring. And so I had made a comment on her thing being like, you were so impactful to me. I still use some of your research ways like EBSCO hosts and how to like frame
Yeah.
a research paper. Still, you were so impactful in my career and upbringing. And because she was my high school librarian, and
Yeah.
even I think like junior high librarian, she led us to the Northeast Texas Teen Book Festival for our book
Yes.
club. Love that place.
We just went. My daughter and I just went this past year.
It's so big, and it was my first time being at a place with just my friends, like, my parents didn't come to, like, Dallas with me, it was just me
Yes.
and my friends, and we went exploring, and I got, like, a little ticket to get some free books and everything. Miss Ramsey was
Yes.
so impactful in my life, and so I made that comment, and it's just an amazing way because I see her in pictures sometimes. It's just an
Yes.
amazing way to still be in touch and in contact with people who I graduated like 4 years ago now, but I'm still in contact with some of my teachers and some of the people I know, and it's just reading was such a big thing in my life, and Mount Vernon nourished that. They made sure that I was always had access to books. Miss Ramsey would give me some books from the high school when I was in junior high, and it was just a way that the community would always come together. Reading is very big in Mount Vernon because every summer they do the library is huge. It was built in this bank vault, and the youth section is still in a bank vault. It was so cool. And they put on every summer a kids like reading thing where old teachers will come and they'll read to the kids. Pete the cat, huge in the summer reading thing. My brother was went every single year, and I had went his last few years, um and like just saw what it was about and everything,
Yeah.
and I just fell in love with how all the town would gather together. There would be firemen who came up to, like, display the fire truck and show the kids stuff. There would be stuff in the square. The square is very big and central. It has all the events, and it was just an amazing way to see the community come together and nourish these young minds into wanting to do a future of reading and going into academia and just different stuff like that.
That's amazing. That's such a special story. I love reading. I am a bookworm. Speaking of the North Texas, is it East Texas or North Texas? I think it's North Texas
I
Book
think yeah.
Festival. That is that thing is amazing.
It's so cool.
It is so cool. I went This is our 2nd year going. The 1st year was very overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming. I met, like, the writer of Dork Diaries. I was, like,
Yes,
fangirling.
we did too. My daughter was over the moon with her friends meeting, the authors, and then this year we went, I was much more prepared, much more prepared. I should have come to you and asked you a bunch of questions, like, "What do I need to look forward to?" Because it was crazy. There's, like, I don't know, maybe, like, almost 10,000 teenagers in the convention center.
And what's great about it, it's not just teenagers. Whenever
No,
I went, there were a whole bunch of adults
young
who would go
adults and
and, like,
adults.
love the books,
Yeah,
and we would comment on each other's, like, fan merch that they were wearing,
yes.
almost like a mini convention, and it's just so cute.
It's so amazing. I'm so glad to hear that, the local librarian was pushing you all to enjoy reading and find that love for reading. I think that's amazing. So, personally, what does Mount Vernon mean to you?
To me, Mount Vernon is definitely a place I grew up. It is like the foundation of my upbringing. I was born in Louisiana, but I was like raised in Mount Vernon from kinder through high school. And then I kind of went to Tyler left eventually. But since I've had to move back home for a little bit, I've rekindled kind of my love for it because it is a place where I see people that I've known all of my life, and they're raising their families and they're getting married. And I was talking with one of my best friends the other day because she just got engaged in the new year, and I was talking with Milo and I was like, how are you doing, how is everything going? And she was telling me about her she became an art teacher and
Wow.
how she's doing, and she's in Dallas right now, but she still thinks about Mount Vernon all the time. And she's looking into getting into coach and cheer, which is something she like fell in love with from Mount Vernon. So it's just so like formative for all of
Yes.
us. And it's definitely just like a place where I have fond memories. Not so also not so fond memories. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were difficulties, but it's just such a place that raised me to be who I am today.
Yes. Through the thick and thin,
Yes.
it made you who you are.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Megan, for sharing your story with us. Is there anything else that is important that to our understanding, to our listeners' understanding of what Mount Vernon is that I didn't ask that you would like to share?
Um, I think I shared a lot. One of the things they have a rich culture and they hold on to their history. one of the big things in Mount Vernon is like the Oktoberfest, or Country Fest, depending on who you talk to. And it's a whole bunch of vendors that will come up and they'll sell things. My friend Milo, she does candle making. She's the one who just got engaged, and she still comes back to Mount Vernon while living in Dallas and sells her candles at the Country Fest.
Wow.
And it's just so amazing to see all of these people and all of their creative works. The Boy Scouts would always be there and they'd sell like root beer and popcorn and everything. And there, it was different ways for you to get involved. I grew up going to a Time to Dance, which was a little ballet studio there. And one of the girls who I grew up dancing with took it over. She now runs the place and helps for people who are in, and does like not just ballet, but workouts for adults who are wanting to get more into movement and everything.
Wow.
So not only am I seeing Mount Vernon celebrate its past and its history, but I'm also seeing the new people help grow and nurture it and not take it over, but add to it.
Add to it. That's wonderful. Well, thank you, Megan. Thank you for sharing your history and your love for Mount Vernon.
Yes, ma'am.
It's good to have you on.
It was great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Voices of East Texas. And a special thank you to Megan Folk for sharing her memories, stories, and experiences growing up across many different corners of East Texas. From small town school halls to winding lake roads and changing communities, her story reminds us that history is often found in the everyday moments that we carry with us. If today's episode has reminded you of your own hometown or your own family stories or the places that have shaped you, we hope you'll continue to follow along as we preserve the voices and memories that make East Texas unique. And be sure to follow and share the Voices of East Texas wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, every voice has a story worth preserving. Until next time, I'm Elena, and this has been the Voices of East Texas.